Sabine, let's be honest, the show spends an exorbitant amount of time focusing on Sabine. I would say more so than Ahsoka Tano. Would you agree?
I think so. It's focused on, it is Sabine focused, I think. It seems like she's the one who's going to be changing, as far as, I suppose that Ahsoka has got to get over some kind of problem, but she's, at least Sabine was not quite as stoic in the sense that you're going to be, or at least there was some kind of sense of change that she was going to have, potentially. So, yeah, it may be her show.
That's a good point. Yeah, Ahsoka doesn't seem like she's on any sort of arc, whereas Sabine does. Immediately, she seems like there is something. She's the one who's the most vulnerable. She's the one that seems to be that there's something for her to learn. My problem, though, is I think when you analyze so Sabine was a character in Rebels, and she was kind of a young, punky artist Mandalorian. That's why her armor's all colored, and that's why her hair was colored and all that. And she was supposed to be the cool, 2015, 2016 punk teenager. Well, that was before A New Hope. Rebels is leading up to A New Hope. It's the early part of the rebellion. So this is after Return of the Jedi. She's a grown woman now, and there's a lot that's happened in the galaxy in between Rebels and Ahsoka, and she strikes me as a teenager. She's still, in every way, when I rewatched it a second time, it became even more apparent that she's written almost as a rebellious teenager still, as if they have not updated their thinking on where her character would be. She should have a strong level of maturity, a strong sense of identity by now, and a firm grasp of who she is and what she likes and doesn't like. Those aren't all up in the air, when you're in your 40s, So I think they missed, they're mixed up with her.
I can completely see that. That's a great point. I remember her, like I said, vaguely from Rebels. But yeah, they lead off with her not showing up for some type of ceremony that she's supposed to show up for, which is a very teenage kind of thing.
Playing rebellious rock music.
Playing rebellious rock music, going down a highway on a motorcycle.
And it's an empty highway.
And an empty highway on a motorcycle. Yes.
Now, to be fair, that is how the highway is portrayed in the animated series. It's
okay.
It looks pretty much exactly like it's portrayed. Now, it worked in the cartoon, but in live action, it just looks weird, man. And again, rock music, that sort of it's associated with teenage rebelliousness. So another scene that was similar was in Star Trek, the reboot, 2009. Jim Kirk is in that car, and it's playing Beastie Boys. He's rocking out to it. He's like 12 years old in that. And so that's matching the maturity level. But with Sabine, it's almost the same type of music. There was even a few riffs on that I was like, that sounds just like that Beastie Boys song. So I don't know what they're saying, man. I just don't get where they're trying to be with her, and skipping out on a commemoration like that didn't make a lot of sense either, because it's to commemorate Ezra Bridger and the person she seems to be so heartfelt for. So why would you skip that? If you want to make her rebel on something, have her skip some sort of bland New Republic bureaucratic holiday, where they celebrate the mayor. That's something worth skipping.
Yeah, I wrote down who is Ezra at the end of one. I had forgotten. I didn't clue in. Then I went, oh. But I wrote that down. I was like, I don't know who we're talking about. But then I realized, like when I went and looked it up. And then I remembered, that's the boy from Rebels.
Yeah.
So if that was, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. I did. But again, I saw the episode,
right.
Like I'm pretty steeped in the lore. But again, it's just a male character opportunity that he's not there. So we just got, it's all girls in this, and and the girls didn't have a lot of personality. So there's not a lot pulling the cart here. And even the three heroines that you have don't even look or act at all like the heroines in the animated series, which were much better.
Well, I remember them having personalities. Like I said,
they were great.
But they had personalities in the cartoon.
Ahsoka Tano was an A+ for me. Hera was like a B. Sabine was like a B. Well, I think Hera might have been like a B plus and Sabine a B. But I liked all of them. They had good arcs, good stories, and this show just put a bottle or a cork in all of them, and they didn't seem to do anything, And then, so I guess we might as well talk about it. There's the first live action lightsaber battle between two women, Hattai and Sabine. And so Sabine has had some sort of training from Ahsoka as a Jedi, apparently. And I didn't get any evidence of that until she pulled out a lightsaber. She's attacked by the assassin droid. You'd think that even rudimentary training would have some telekinesis or force push. She didn't have any of that. So when she was fighting that attack droid, it was purely as a regular person. And then she pulls out a lightsaber, and she's, they're doing a lightsaber fight. It wasn't that great of a lightsaber fight. It was okay. A lot slower than I'm used to, which I don't mind slow sometimes. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth in A New Hope was pretty slow, but it was driven by dialogue. And I always thought lightsaber battles were an extension of the mental battles going on between the two. So that's why I always appreciated dialogue in lightsaber battles, because, there's a cat and mouse with the dialogue. When I left you, I was but the learner. He's getting in Kenobi's head, and then Kenobi's like, only the master of evil does some, devaluing. So the dialogue can compensate for a slow lightsaber battle. And this one was slow and hardly no dialogue. There's really nothing personal between these two. They're just two women fighting each other with a lightsaber. And Heath, do you want to? Do you feel like regaling them on how it ended?
Well, and that's what everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
That's so much of the, I guess I'll use the word gravitas again, but of lightsabers is gone, and has been for a long time. But we could have come up with some better way to wonder whether or not Sabine was going to be alive than having her get stabbed.
Well,
so we already established that is what had killed the captain 35 minutes ago, or whatever that was.
Yes. He has to be still alive then.
Yeah, he must be alive.
just a little lightheaded. Just lay down in a bed and get some. And this is real dialogue in Ahsoka. From General Hera to Sabine, who's in bed after being impaled by a lightsaber through the chest. Get some rest. That's real dialogue. I don't know about you, Heath, but if you were impaled by something and I'm like, hey, Heath, get some rest, you'd be like, dude, I hope I live.
I'm not going anywhere. Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, and everyone's pointed that out. Like, I don't listen. In The Phantom Menace, Qui-Gon Jinn sticks his lightsaber through a blast door, which is like got to be better than steel or titanium, and he's holding it and he's twisting it and it's superheating the metal and they're still coming through. Dude, you're dead if it goes through you. It's over. Sorry.
And there was no reason for them to fight anyway. She had the ball, the mat ball. Yeah. That's what they came for. They should have just left. There wasn't a reason to have that.
Yeah. Well, I get that. I could see, even if I was the filmmaker, being tempted on having them fight. If I knew Sabine had a lightsaber, I'd be like, oh, got to have a fight here. Now, to your point, I would have structured it different. To justify it a little bit better.
Have her coming in with the lightsaber to get the ball herself.
Instead of the assassin droid. Beautiful.
Instead of the assassin droid, and then have Sabine grab a lightsaber from under wherever it was.
Yeah.
And then have them fight
over
in
my
there.
Dead body.
That would have been better.
Well,
it also would have given them an environment to fight in.
Yeah, that was a bad environment, poorly lit. Have fun with it, man. This is your signature combat for your brand. Have fun with it. At least Lucas had fun with those lightsaber battles. Say what you want about the prequels. They had good lightsaber battles. I've seen several articles and rankers on the best lightsaber battles in Star Wars. The Maul, Kenobi, and Qui-Gon Jinn lightsaber battles always in the top 3, if not number 1 in some lists. So, and of course you've got Obi-Wan and Anakin. I don't know, man. Don't take it lightly. Your job is to entertain. So if my job was to entertain all of you with a lightsaber battle, I'd do a better job than they did on that. That said, when she got stabbed, I actually perked up. I was like, oh, Okay. I go, as off as this show has been, they just signaled to me that this show could have some serious consequences. They just killed off Sabine Wren. So, and we're both members of Cameron's Patreon, and I posted my opinion. I said the first episode wasn't that good, but I was like, I'll watch second episode. We'll see how it goes. Second episode opens up with Sabine Wren in a hospital, sitting up in bed with a Band-Aid basically over her wound. And they treated it like she got knocked out or had a slight flutter, and she's fine, absolutely fine. This had no serious impact on her. It just held her back for the rest of the morning and evening, and she's ready to get back out there and get on the road. And I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm like, so you didn't kill Sabine Wren. So the gravity that I thought I understood at the end of episode 1, that's erased. And 2, she's not even seriously wounded.
No, it's not like they cut an arm off or a leg off or something like that either, which is also pretty classic in Star Wars. It's not like she lost an arm because of that.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, being dismembered in combat is archetypal. In fact, in one of the books that I love reading, Star Wars, The Magic of Myth, there's a discussion in the Belly of the Beast, Joseph Campbell model, where they discuss what it means to be in the belly of the beast, and it's expanded. And that's when the hero is swallowed, symbolically killed, or dismembered. That's a clear thing. Luke gets dismembered, Vader, so dismembering is in the theme of Star Wars. It's part of the cost of combat in the Star Wars universe. And to be impaled is to be killed in the Star by a lightsaber. You're done. Oddly, and I don't understand this, Disney Star Wars treats this as totally inconvenient. I think there's been like 4 or 5 characters now that have survived direct impaling by a lightsaber. And that's so weird to me, because if you want the characters to survive, have him get nicked in the arm, or like they did with Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of Attack of the Clones, he gets hit in the thigh. He's like, he goes down, but there's no real threat to his life. So just do that. But they're not. They're literally, it's like being decapitated, and they're like, all right, Dory, we got you. Woo, we sewed you back together. Thank God we were able to do this. It's almost that dumb to have several characters survive decapitations because they were able to sew the head back on. It's one step above that level, in my opinion.